The more things change, the more they stay the same. And today's news is further proof of that. A lot has developed since our last video, only less than 12 hours ago. Silicon Valley Bank, there was a run on the bank thanks to the VC investors, which turns out was most of the patrons of that bank. The average depositor on Silicon Valley Bank was something like $250,000. Most VCs use this bank because the line of credit was much easier to achieve. In fact, 50% of all VCs in the US use Silicon Valley Bank, also known as SVB. So for those of you who are trying to keep up with that one, it is not Silvergate Bank, although that one might have been a red herring. A lot of talk about Silvergate. That one was also a big one. But Silicon Valley Bank just kind of slipped right under the radar. In fact, most people hadn't even heard of this one. But again, like I said in yesterday's video, this one was just short of Lehman Brothers. And there's some awful lot of similarities between Silicon Valley Bank and Lehman Brothers. We will be getting into it. If you guys enjoy these updates, it's not always good news, but it's good to be updated. Hit like and hit subscribe. We put out videos every day. If you want to know which cryptos we are holding and why, and which stablecoin we are not holding, and we woke up today very thankful we were not holding it. In fact, we made a video on that one twice over the past few weeks. You got to go ahead and check out a link for the CT Club down below. So, first off, Janet Yellen, the US Treasury Secretary, came out and said that she and the financial regulators are very confident in the resiliency of the banking system in the US. You know why they're very confident in the resiliency of it? Because they know they can bail them out to their heart's content. Also, speaking of financial regulators, Moody's credit rating agency granted Silicon Valley Bank a rating of A 3 days before this bank went down. So for those of you, I'm going to shout that one again from the back. 3 days before the bank went under, it was given A rating. So for those of you who have full faith in the regulatory body in any kind of financial situation, they failed in 2008 and they're failing again. However, 15 years later.
Bought and paid for.
Bought and paid for by Janet Yellen. What? We're also learning that this failure of this bank is not due to their, proximity to the crypto and the tech industry. It is, in fact, the mismanagement of their own balance sheets. But this doesn't mean that this bank does not affect the crypto and the tech industry. Revert back to how I said, like 50% of the VCs in the US used Silicon Valley Bank. USDC also used SVB for 8%, at least, 8% of their collateral, of their whatever was backing their stablecoin was held in that bank, and it was, now they can't access it. And that's why we're seeing USDC trading at what, 90 cents, 91 cents, 92 cents. It depegged and it's still struggling. So this is the crux of the whole stablecoin situation. Oh wow, they're centralized, they're regulated, they're audited, and they're still using the traditional banking system, and that is their downfall. So for everyone who's worried that crypto is going to be the contagion that's going to affect the TradeFi, it's actually kind of the reverse. And DAI similarly is also being affected by it. It is a decentralized stablecoin that unfortunately is heavily collateralized by USDC. So we have a lot of cleaning out to do, and it's really important to pay attention to these forms of centralization, especially if you're going to assume that any crypto or stablecoin is your safe place. When push comes to shove, I don't know about you, but I know which cryptocurrency I would rather hold my value in. If stablecoins were to cease to exist altogether, where would you put your value in crypto? That's maybe the mindset you should be having, and not so be heavy on stablecoins because they have a lot of counterparty risk. Also, speaking of, insurances, FDIC, you remember them? They have what, like 1.2% of a balance sheet to cover what they're claiming to be insuring. Trillions of dollars versus billions of dollars. In fact, the value of Silicon Valley Bank, if the FDIC were to come in and insure the entirety of that bank, it would wipe out its balance sheet. And yet Janet Yellen and the financial regulators are confident in the resiliency of the banking system, yet their very insurance provider is just skating by the skin of their teeth, basically. So again, we got to think twice about, you know, the reliance of the traditional financial system and why Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies were created in the first place. All right, now back to what I was referring to earlier in this video with Lehman Brothers. There are some scary similarities, and just, you know, these guys are just circling around, playing the same tune over and over again. The chief administrative officer of Silicon Valley Bank was the former CFO of Lehman Brothers in 2007, right before that one collapsed. And furthermore, the CEO of Silicon Valley Bank was actually a former director of the San Francisco Federal Reserve. So, where did they learn all their practices? And how do these practices possibly fail their users and, you know, maybe create a little bit of a contagion situation in the TradeFi? Oh, we got a Lehman Brother guy in there. We got a Federal Reserve director in there. These guys don't care about doing what's right or, you know, protecting their users. They're going to do whatever they can with the money that's deposited, and good riddance to whoever is trusting them to do so with their funds. We're going to keep you guys posted on how this story is developing, and if this is going to affect other banks as well. Ben Rickard is calling Credit Suisse to be the next bank to go. So if that's true, how will that affect crypto even further? We're not going to know the direct ties of these banks to any crypto players or stable coins or anything until after the fact, because they're not going to be revealing their weaknesses, right? They're not going to reveal anything that they have to until they have to. Is this going to be a repeat of March 2020? Maybe, but you know what happened after March 2020? We had another all-time high in Bitcoin shortly thereafter, about a year after that, right? So you got to have a bigger picture in mind and understand again why crypto was created, and maybe think twice about stablecoins at this point, and where is your real safe haven. If you guys are enjoying these updates, hit like, hit subscribe. We'll see you soon. Bye guys.